In this video, I'm going to walk you through the materials prep for Lesson 9 of Unit 7.1 from Open Syed. All right, this lesson takes a little bit of time to get ready for, so give yourself plenty of time. First of all, let's start talking about the posters you're going to need to make. There are 3 sets of posters. You can see that they're right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. And you can see that you're going to make 3 sets, one for water, one for rubbing alcohol, and one for glycerin. And so you can see this poster paper has grid marks behind it. Volume is labeled on the x-axis. You've got mass in grams on the y-axis. And you want to make sure you have those little graduations between, because students are going to come up and graph and plot their measurements. And so you're going to give students sticky notes. I'd probably have them bring up their handout with their results on them and then have sticky notes up here ready to go. And they're going to put their volume in milliliters here, their mass in grams here for their group, and then they're going to plot it on this graph. And so what they will find is that the plot makes a predictable linear relationship. This is going to happen for water, rubbing alcohol, and glycerin. There'll be a group of 4. Half of them will do water and rubbing alcohol, and then the other partnership will do water and glycerin. And then you'll split those 2 kids up. One will come and plot the water, and the other one will plot the other clear liquid. And so you need these ready to go. Use sticky notes so you can reuse them between classes. You'll just take off the sticky notes, take off the sticky markers here, and then reuse them from class to class. All right, let me zoom back out. And so that's probably going to take you the most time, is creating these posters, placing tick mark increments about every 2 centimeters. So you'll need to have some graph paper of some kind, or I don't know. You might just have to use a ruler to do this, but that's going to take you a minute to make. Okay, so you will also need a strip of paper for density calculations that will line up with this. You could just add a sticky note, calculate the density, and then just put another sticky note to the right. But don't put density up before students come up, because you don't want them calculating it too soon. Okay. The heated water lab, which is the big investigation you're going to start with, there is a teacher reference setup document that I've linked here. It's also in the Google Drive. It goes through all of the different things you're going to do for this demo. And one thing you'll want to prep is this vinyl rubber tubing that has the glass portion of a rubber dropper. Like you have a rubber squeezer, you're going to take that off. You'll have the glass portion of the dropper. You might need to heat up this vinyl tubing, place it in some really hot water, slide it over the glass portion. Be careful, it can break. You might want to wear gloves. And you'll see that the pointed end comes off here, and then the pointed end is going into the tube here. This will also be needed to be connected to a rubber stopper with a hole in it. It might be easier to put that rubber stopper on first, in case that edge doesn't go all the way through. Anyways, please have this done before students come in, because that'll take too long to do in front of them. Okay, for the heated water lab, you will also need a hot plate, 2 flasks, one of them filled with water, about 150 milliliters. You're going to heat this up before students start to come in. This is the one you're going to put the cork with the hole in it, with that tube coming out that you've pre-made. And then you'll need another one to cork the second Erlenmeyer flask, where you're going to collect the water vapor, or whatever's coming off of the first Erlenmeyer flask. We're not sure what it is, but it's water vapor. Okay, let's see. Please wear goggles and use hot mitts, demonstrate safety, but also things are going to get hot. And then you want to make sure that lit matches are at least 1 inch away from the tubing when you're doing the flame test, but also make sure it's not near your rubbing alcohol. Okay. Make sure you save the liquid generated, because you're going to need at least 20 milliliters to collect for the density measurements the following day or by the end of class. You can cheat on this a little bit if you want by getting some distilled water if you don't collect enough by the end of the day. But this is definitely you're supposed to collect it so that you can measure the density the next day. Okay, the density lab, the mass and volume data. Students are going to be grouped into groups of 4. And then those groups of 4 are going to be split into 2 partnerships. One partnership is going to do water and rubbing alcohol, and the other partnership is going to do water and glycerin. And so the idea is how, if you measure the grams, the mass, and you measure the volume and you plot it on our graph, we are going to find this nice proportional linear line. And then we're going to calculate the density and find out that no matter what amount you have, it's always going to have the same density because density is a property of matter. Okay, so once we do the density of that final unknown, which is water, students are going to write a claim evidence reasoning talking about why they know it's water. Now, they're going to have a handout that you're going to need to print out. I'll show that to you in a minute, but it might be nice to have this poster up. It comes from lesson 2 to talk about, we've been developing this practice throughout the unit. So to reference the making a claim, supporting with evidence, and then using key model ideas to write our reasoning. Okay, speaking of the handout, let's go up to the top. This is the handout where they're going to evaluate some arguments, and then they're going to list the evidence and reasoning that supports the claim. The claim is given to them, and then they're going to write their own paragraph style explanation argument on a separate piece of paper. So this is the handout. Every student will need a copy. This was not originally on here. I added it, but every student will also need a copy of this density calculations of clear liquids handout. This is where they're going to put their data from their mass and volume lab. And then this is a demo. So you'll need this to demo the heat water lab. This one is to clean the equipment. You need a soapy water bin students can place their stuff in there at the end of the day. But I will say, I probably would just have a station assigned for glycerin. So they're using the same graduated cylinder. I don't know if I'd want to clean graduated cylinders between, if they just really dump them out and that station always uses the same liquid and it's not contaminated. It's up to you. But cleaning between classes, always an issue. Okay. Let's see over here. This is really that end, I guess just the 3 graphs and tables. We kind of went over all of this. So, sticky notes. You're going to need sticky notes for students to put on the posters, and each group they can share will need a digital scale. And of course the 25 milliliter graduated cylinders, that's here too as well. So I think that's it. Magnets are to put up the posters. I would have some painter's tape on hand. So a lot of prep. Give yourself time and good luck with lesson 9.